What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between starting quarterbacks and third string quarterbacks. So we're going to be talking about some of the different things that starters do that backups do not do that help the starters get more playtime and be more successful on the field. Now, one of the things that I feel more successful quarterbacks do than I guess you could say non-successful quarterbacks is that they stand tall in the pocket, which helps them rotate on their throws. As a quarterback, all of our power and all of our efficiency and sustainability, and by sustainability I mean taking pressure off your arms so you're able to throw for longer periods of time more successfully, comes from our hips. We have to be able to rotate with our hips. So a lot of times, like, quarterbacks who maybe aren't as talented, don't have the strongest arms, feel a ton of arm pain, so it makes them less consistent. In the pocket, they want to sit super low to create power. Now, we do generate some power from our legs. Ground force is a very real thing, but if you guys are in this position where you're really low, and you could have great like upper body posture even doing this, but your knees are past your toes and your shins are kind of caved forward, what happens is that when you strike the ground, one of two things happens. Either you can't rotate with your hips, so you throw like this, and so then you're not using your hips at all, because hip rotation is not just rotating, it's you want internal hip rotation, which means you want your hips to turn here. You want to go knee to knee with your feet, right? So if you're really low like this, you can't do that. Now, what some guys will do as well is they'll step, and because that knee can't support the rotation, guess what happens? They lock out. And when you lock out, your head level changes, your whole body pops up, and that can cause a lot of quarterbacks to lose power on deeper throws or to miss high because everything is popping up. So guys, the most successful quarterbacks stand extremely tall with their base. Everybody can have good posture up top, but a lot of guys don't understand that it's more of like you're sitting your butt down and you're trying to keep your shins completely straight when you're in your base, because now when I strike the ground, even if I have a slight knee bend, I could rotate through and stay balanced and stay at the same level. So that's going to help with arm strength, taking pressure off your arm, and when your hips are rotating, your upper body can stay more still so you can be more accurate on your throws. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of this video, if you are a quarterback and you would like a 2-month-long workout schedule that you can follow, go to that very first link in the description below for our elite quarterback training package. What it is, guys, is 2 full months of daily gym workouts specifically for quarterbacks and field workouts specifically for quarterbacks. It's going to improve your arm strength, your accuracy, throwing on the run ability, your footwork, everything that it takes to be an elite quarterback. So we map out everything for you on a weekly schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Sunday. We give you rest days, of course. We give you the exact sets and reps to follow and a video example of each drill and gym exercise. So guys, if you want to sign up for that, get our elite quarterback training package, go to that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, the next thing that I feel like more so backup quarterbacks, not as talented quarterbacks do, and this is one of the biggest myths about the quarterback position that I can't stand when quarterback coaches like focus so much on this, is that when they're moving in the pocket, especially when they're moving like laterally, they just have to have this mindset of like, okay, my back foot has to move first. Like, guys, when you watch any NFL quarterback, just look at the best guys in the world. Don't even listen to me. Watch the best guys in the world. 32 NFL starters. When they move in the pocket, both feet move at the exact same time and they maintain their throwing base when they move. And more often than not, when both feet move at the same time, it's almost like if I'm moving this way, it's almost like a DB back pedal. Now, notice when I do that back pedal, my left foot moves first. More often than not, guys, probably I would say like 95% of the time, QBs are moving with their front foot first because they're keeping weight loaded on their back leg, because that's the most efficient position to throw. You have to understand throwing mechanics to get this concept. A lot of coaches don't understand biomechanics and the actual throwing mechanics of the position and how it can translate to footwork and like off-platform throws, right? So if I'm in a throwing base, because think about in the NFL, college ball, throwing windows are extremely small. These are insanely fast, quick, and talented players. So you don't have big throwing windows, right? So you got to be always in a position ready to throw. So QBs, you want to have a good amount of weight loaded onto your back leg. You want to be tall, like we mentioned earlier, but like 65-70% of their weight on your back leg. And you want to be just here, and when it's time to throw, bam, I stride, my weight stays back, my head stays on this side of my body so my shoulders can rotate back, and then I transfer my weight. And that allows me to get to a position called dissociation, which means your upper body is separate from your lower body and your hips fire through before your shoulders do. We talked a lot about hip rotation earlier in this video. So if you're in that base and you have to move in the pocket, if you're just so concerned with going back foot first, and you have to move with your back foot. You got to kick step out of there. It dumps all the weight on your front foot. Now, a lot of people might make the argument, well, couldn't I just move and then reset and then throw and it's less steps? Yes, but you don't have that kind of time once you get to a certain level of football. You got to think both feet are moving at the same time. I'm here. I'm here. I'm staying in my throwing base and I'm just moving. I'm moving both feet at the same time. So if I got to get out of trouble, I can still get the ball out of my hands no matter what platform I am at. The top tier quarterbacks all have elite footwork and can throw off of their footwork. The non-top tier quarterbacks look very robotic. They go here, set up, throw. Or they go here and then throw. And it's just inconsistent, you guys. So don't be in that mindset of my back foot always has to move first. Move both feet at the same time and stay in a throwing base and you will be just fine. Now, the next thing we're going to discuss, you guys, has to do with football IQ and being able to read defenses. That's one of the most important things as a quarterback. Like, especially if you're a starting quarterback, you probably understand how important knowing what a playbook is, how important knowing what your read key defenders are, and that all comes down to a pre-snap process. And a lot of times, like backup quarterbacks, bench warmer quarterbacks, if you will, don't necessarily have that pre-snap process. They come up to the line of scrimmage, maybe they know their playbook, and they come up to the line, and they just snap the ball. And then it's like, okay, is that guy open? Okay, no, he's not open. And you're always gonna be a split second behind. You need to make very, very quick decisions at the quarterback position. So you need to have an insane amount of trust that your receivers are gonna be in the right spot, your offensive line is gonna do their job, but you are looking at read key defenders, and you need a pre-snap process to look at the coverage to determine where you are going to go with the ball before you even snap the ball. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but again, guys, it's a pre-snap process that you need to rep out over and over and over again, so it becomes second nature. So I'm going to give you the one that I used when I was a player. This is what I was taught, and this seemed to work well for me. So let's say we have a play. Let's keep it simple. Let's say I have on the left side 2 receivers and they're doing double slants. Right side, I have a slant and I have a bubble screen, right? So on this play specifically, I probably don't like the slant bubble versus like cover 2, because the corner in cover 2 sits in the flats, so he could take away the bubble, and then the outside linebacker could take away the slant, right? So if I see cover 2, I'm probably going to work the left side because there's no routes going towards the flats, and my read would be the outside backer. If he widens, I throw the inside slant. If he comes down, I throw the outside slant. So I come up to the line of scrimmage and I'm looking at the safeties, corners, then the box to determine what coverage it is. So let's say I come up to the line, and let's say the safeties are not really wide, there's 2 of them. They're up close and they're inside the hash marks, and I look to the outside and the corners are off. So it's 2 high safeties. That doesn't mean it's cover 2. That looks like cover 4 deep zones. So I'm thinking, all right, double slants could work versus cover 4, but I like that slant bubble because that outside backer is going to vacate, and then bam, I got that slant window right there. So I go to the right side, and that's before I snap the ball. Bam, I know where to go with the ball. It's not, okay, set, go, and then I look, and then I'm screwed because I don't know what the coverage is. So you need to have a pre-snap process, you guys, if you want to be a starting quarterback or an elite top tier QB. Now, how many of you guys have been told by a coach that, like, hey, you're a really good quarterback, but your release is really, really slow. You need to quicken up your release, right? And so a lot of times coaches like mean well when they say that, and a lot of quarterbacks need to quicken their release, but they focus so much on the arm. They're like, hey, you should be really short with your arm and go straight over the top and throw. That'll quicken up your release. But really, guys, your release time, generally, more often than not, some guys have weird habits for sure, but more often than not, it has to do with your front stride not getting down quick enough. So you got to think about it, guys. An on-platform throw. I'm not talking on the run. I'm not talking off-platform where you're drifting back, maybe even sometimes in that case, but a normal on-platform throw, you physically cannot release the ball until your front foot's down. Like, try it. Like, you having to release the ball without that foot coming down, it's impossible. You're gonna be throwing like this, right? So the faster the foot gets down, faster your hips fire, faster your arm's gonna be. So a lot of times guys have a really long release or a slow release because this left foot just like lingers and then it gets down, then they throw. And a lot of guys that have a lightning quick release, you look at a guy like Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees is really quick with his release because he was really wide. I wouldn't teach that, to be 100% honest with you, just nowadays, because you're not really rotating with your hips, but because his feet were wide, his stride was so quick. You look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's got a more narrow base, but his foot gets down insanely fast. The faster the foot gets down, faster the arm's gonna be. So if you have a slow release, which is hindering your play time, hindering your decisions, you feel like you're a split second behind on everything, what you should be training is, how quickly can I get my foot down? I tell my quarterbacks, don't step to the target, step towards the target. Step down. Get your heel in the ground as fast as you can, as that will speed up your release. And obviously, to be a starting, like varsity level, college level, especially in the league, in the NFL, you need to have a quick release.